1996, a pivotal year in the world of automotive history. General Motors, one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world, introduced a game-changing vehicle known as the EV1, an all-electric car boasting zero emissions and groundbreaking technology. The EV1 was only available to select customers through a lease agreement, but it sparked hope for a cleaner future and left many wondering why this revolutionary vehicle didn't stick around. The story of the EV1 takes a dark turn when, in 2003 and 2004, GM launched a series of crushing events, destroying nearly all of the 1,100 EV1s ever produced. This shocking move led to conspiracy theories about suppressed clean energy technology and left environmental activists, electric vehicle enthusiasts, and former EV1 lessees outraged. At the heart of this mystery lies a crucial question: why would GM crush its own potentially groundbreaking electric car? To understand this, let's first examine the unique features and limitations of the EV1. Developed by General Motors' Advanced Technology Vehicle Group, the two-seater boasted impressive specifications for its time. It could reach speeds up to 80 miles per hour and travel around 50 to 100 miles on a single charge, depending on the battery type. However, there were drawbacks to this pioneering vehicle. The EV1 relied on lead-acid batteries that took hours to recharge fully. Moreover, its limited production run resulted in high lease costs, making it unattainable for many interested consumers. Despite these limitations, the EV1 demonstrated a viable path towards zero-emission transportation and garnered significant attention from environmentalists and the media alike. The crushing of GM's electric car sent shockwaves through the community. Many believed that this was a clear attempt to suppress clean energy technology, as it prevented other companies from accessing the EV1's patented components. Others speculated that GM destroyed the EV1 to avoid liability issues related to the car's battery packs and charging systems. A critical piece of the puzzle emerged when former GM executive Kenneth Baker admitted in a 2006 interview that the car was crushed because it no longer made financial or business sense for us to continue maintaining and servicing them. However, skeptics question this explanation, claiming that GM could have stored or donated the vehicles to universities or research institutions. In response to public pressure, GM did donate a few EV1s to various organizations, including the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History and the California Science Center in Los Angeles. But these donations accounted for only a tiny fraction of the total number of EV1s produced. The saga of the EV1 remains shrouded in mystery and controversy, leaving many unanswered questions about GM's true motivations behind crushing its own electric car. With climate change becoming an increasingly pressing issue, the story of the EV1 serves as a stark reminder of the lost potential in clean energy technology and underscores the need for further innovation and investment in sustainable transportation solutions. The EV1 story is a tangled web of intrigue involving not just General Motors, but also the US government and the powerful oil industry. To understand the full picture, we need to delve into the roles each player had in the electric car's life and death. General Motors spearheaded the EV1 project, introducing it in 1996 as a result of the California Air Resources Board's zero-emission vehicle mandate. The regulation required automakers to produce a certain number of zero-emission vehicles for sale in California. However, GM only leased the EV1 and never offered an outright purchase option, a decision that would later raise questions. The US government, specifically the Department of Energy, played a significant role in promoting electric vehicle technology through funding research and development programs. The DOE even supported GM's EV1 program with a $70.8 million grant. However, after George W. Bush took office in 2001, the new administration shifted its focus away from electric vehicles towards hydrogen fuel cell technology. The oil industry, represented by organizations such as the Western States Petroleum Association and powerful companies like ExxonMobil and Chevron, had much to lose from the widespread adoption of electric vehicles. Their involvement in the EV1's demise is less direct but still worth exploring. At the time, these companies were major contributors to political campaigns, spending millions of dollars to influence energy policy. In 2003, GM repossessed and crushed most of the EV1 fleet, claiming that there was no demand for electric vehicles. This decision sparked controversy, as many believed it was a strategic move by GM to protect its interests in internal combustion engine vehicles and prevent competition from cleaner alternatives. A key figure in the saga is Alan Kokani, founder of AC Propulsion, a company that developed an electric drivetrain used in early EV1 prototypes. Kokani expressed frustration with GM's reluctance to adopt his more advanced technology and claimed that GM prevented him from marketing his innovations to other car manufacturers. Another critical player is Who Killed the Electric Car, a 2006 documentary that brought widespread attention to the EV1 controversy. The film explored the potential collusion between automakers, oil companies, and government agencies to suppress electric vehicle technology. Its release fueled public interest in clean energy transportation solutions and prompted further investigations into the EV1's demise. The mystery surrounding the EV1 deepens when considering that some EV1s were donated to museums and universities instead of being destroyed. A few even survived and are now part of private collections. These surviving vehicles raise questions about GM's true motivations for crushing most of the fleet. In conclusion, the story of the EV1 is a complex tapestry involving General Motors, the US government, and the oil industry. While specific answers remain elusive, it is clear that this electric car represented both a missed opportunity for clean energy transportation and a potential threat to powerful interests tied to fossil fuels. As we face an increasingly urgent climate crisis, understanding the EV1's history becomes all the more critical, not just as a cautionary tale, but also as a reminder of the need for continued innovation in sustainable transportation solutions. Delve into the sophisticated technology that powered the EV1, starting with its advanced battery system. The EV1 was equipped with lead-acid batteries when it first hit the roads in 1996, but General Motors soon upgraded to nickel-metal hydride batteries in 1999, significantly improving the car's range and performance. These NiMH battery packs were developed by Ovonix, a company later acquired by Texaco and then Chevron, raising questions about the oil giant's role in limiting the EV1's potential. The NiMH batteries in the EV1 offered a substantial improvement over lead-acid batteries, with a higher energy density and longer lifespan. These batteries could store more energy in a smaller and lighter package, allowing the EV1 to travel further on a single charge. The 1999 model had an EPA estimated range of around 160 miles, impressive even by today's standards. Another key feature of the EV1 was its regenerative braking system, which converted kinetic energy into electrical energy during deceleration, further extending the car's range. When the driver lifted their foot off the accelerator or applied the brakes, the electric motor would act as a generator, sending excess electricity back to the batteries for later use. This technology not only enhanced the EV1's efficiency but also provided smoother and more predictable deceleration compared to traditional braking systems. The EV1 was also one of the first mass-produced cars to utilize a dedicated electric powertrain, consisting of an AC induction motor and controller. The AC motor, developed by Siemens, produced 137 horsepower and 109 lb-ft of torque, enabling the EV1 to accelerate from 0 to 60 mph in just 8 seconds, a remarkable feat for an electric vehicle at the time. The controller, responsible for managing power distribution between the battery and motor, was a critical component of the EV1's powertrain. The car used a sophisticated vector control strategy, allowing precise adjustments to both current and voltage supplied to the motor. This enabled the EV1 to deliver smooth acceleration and maintain consistent speeds with minimal energy loss. Despite its technological prowess, the EV1 faced numerous challenges that ultimately led to its demise. Limited production numbers, high lease prices, and a lack of charging infrastructure made it difficult for the vehicle to gain widespread adoption. Moreover, General Motors' decision to reclaim and destroy most of the EV1s after their leases ended has fueled speculation about the role of fossil fuel interests in suppressing electric vehicles. As we grapple with the climate crisis, unraveling the mystery surrounding the EV1 serves as both a cautionary tale and a call to action. The cutting-edge technology that powered the EV1 offers valuable insights into the potential for cleaner, more sustainable transportation solutions. By revisiting this piece of history, we can learn from past mistakes and continue pushing the boundaries of innovation in electric vehicles. 1996 marked a significant milestone in automotive history with the introduction of General Motors' EV1, the first mass-produced electric vehicle by a major carmaker. However, just a decade later, GM recalled and crushed most of these vehicles, leaving many to question the reasons behind such a decision. The demise of the EV1 remains shrouded in mystery, riddled with political pressure, lobbying from the oil industry, and allegedly insufficient consumer demand. The California Air Resources Board played a pivotal role in the birth of the EV1. In 1990, CARB adopted the zero-emission vehicle mandate, which required carmakers to sell a certain percentage of ZEVs in California. This regulation pressured major manufacturers like GM to invest in electric vehicle technology. However, political pressure and lobbying from the oil industry began to mount as early as 1996, when the National Petroleum Refiners Association and Western States Petroleum Association lobbied Congress to overturn CARB's ZEV mandate. The Independent Petroleum Association of America also opposed electric vehicles, claiming that they would harm consumers by increasing energy costs and reducing fuel choices. Despite the promising start, GM faced numerous challenges in marketing the EV1. They limited leases to select cities with infrastructure support, and initially priced the cars high, around $34,000, to cover production expenses. Moreover, GM only provided a few hundred vehicles, creating artificial scarcity. These factors contributed to the perception of low consumer demand for electric vehicles. In 2003, GM announced it would cease EV1 production and recall all leased vehicles. Although some claim this was due to insufficient demand or high manufacturing costs, others point to a more complex web of circumstances that ultimately led to the EV1's demise. First, CARB weakened its ZEV mandate in 2001, allowing car makers to meet their quotas with transitional, low-emission vehicles instead of fully electric ones. This shift reduced pressure on manufacturers like GM to continue developing and producing electric cars. Additionally, The Energy Policy Act of 2005 extended tax credits for fuel cell vehicles, but not battery electrics, further disincentivizing investment in EV technology. Second, GM faced legal challenges from the IPAA regarding CARB's ZEV mandate. In 2002, a federal appeals court ruled that CARB had exceeded its authority in implementing the regulation. Although CARB eventually prevailed in 2007, this legal battle likely influenced GM's decision to discontinue the EV1 during the uncertain period when the mandate was being challenged. Lastly, GM faced financial struggles at the time of the EV1's demise. The company reported losses from 2004 to 2006 and needed government bailouts in 2008. Discontinuing expensive, low-volume projects like the EV1 may have seemed like a logical cost-cutting measure during this challenging period. The mystery surrounding the demise of GM's EV1 remains unresolved, with many questions lingering about political pressure, oil industry lobbying, and consumer demand. By examining these factors, we can better understand the complex dynamics at play in the electric vehicle market and strive for a more sustainable transportation future. Delving deeper into the enigma surrounding GM's EV1, we encounter a web of unanswered questions and contentious allegations. One cannot help but wonder if political pressure, oil industry lobbying, or simple disregard for consumer demand played a role in the demise of this groundbreaking electric vehicle. In 2006, investigative journalist and author Edward Niedermeyer published a book titled SUV Nation, which delved into the politics behind America's love affair with sport utility vehicles. In it, he explored the alleged suppression of electric vehicle technology by powerful interests. While Niedermeyer doesn't claim to have definitive proof, he presents compelling evidence that raises questions about the motives behind the demise of GM's EV1. One such piece of evidence is a 1996 report by the California Air Resources Board, which recommended a zero-emission vehicle mandate. This mandate would have forced automakers to produce and sell a certain number of electric vehicles in California, thereby fostering innovation and competition in the sector. However, in 2003, CARB unexpectedly weakened the ZEV mandate, allowing automakers to meet their obligations through hydrogen fuel cell vehicles or plug-in hybrids instead. The timing of this change is intriguing, as it coincides with General Motors' decision to discontinue the EV1 in 2002. While GM claimed low consumer demand and high production costs as reasons for the EV1's demise, some critics argue that the company actively lobbied against the ZEV mandate to protect its EEV mandate to protect its EEV mandate to protect its EUV market share. Furthermore, General Motors destroyed nearly all of the 1,100 EV1s ever produced, leaving only a few dozen in museums or with private collectors. This move has fueled suspicions that GM wanted to suppress the technology and prevent it from falling into competitors' hands. Interestingly, Tesla Motors, an early pioneer in modern electric vehicles, was founded in 2003, the same year CARB weakened the ZEV mandate by a group of engineers disillusioned with GM's handling of the EV1 project. The alleged cover-up extends beyond General Motors, implicating powerful oil industry lobbyists as well. In 1996, an internal memo from the American Petroleum Institute, an oil and natural gas trade association, was leaked to the public. The document, titled Confidential Industry Analysis: Impact of the California Alternative Portfolio Standard, outlined a strategy to undermine electric vehicle adoption through targeted lobbying efforts and disinformation campaigns. The API memo suggested that electric vehicles posed a significant threat to the oil industry's market dominance, and recommended various tactics to counter this challenge. These strategies included fostering public skepticism about electric cars, emphasizing their limited range, and highlighting the need for extensive infrastructure investments. While the API has since distanced itself from the memo, its existence raises questions about the role of oil industry lobbyists in shaping public opinion and policy regarding electric vehicles. In conclusion, the demise of GM's EV1 remains a captivating mystery with far-reaching implications for the future of sustainable transportation. The alleged efforts by General Motors, CRB, and the oil industry to suppress information about the EV1 and its technology warrant further investigation. By shedding light on these contentious issues, we can better understand the complex dynamics at play in the electric vehicle market and work towards a more sustainable transportation future. In the quest for a more sustainable future, the story of General Motors' EV1 and its untimely demise leaves us with many unanswered questions. The electric vehicle, once hailed as a revolution in clean energy transportation, was unceremoniously pulled from production, and subsequently, most of the existing units were destroyed. The aftermath of the EV1's cancellation led to an industry-wide slowdown in electric vehicle development. For nearly a decade following the EV1's discontinuation, major automakers focused their resources on perfecting internal combustion engines rather than exploring alternative energy sources. This lack of investment and innovation stalled progress in electric vehicle technology, perpetuating our reliance on fossil fuels. However, the tides began to turn at the end of the first decade of the 21st century. Pioneering companies like Tesla emerged, driven by a vision for a future free from pollution and dependence on oil. Tesla's Roadster, unveiled in 2008, marked a significant milestone as it demonstrated that electric vehicles could be both practical and desirable. Tesla's success has sparked a renewed interest in electric vehicle development among traditional automakers. Today, virtually every major car manufacturer offers at least one electric model, and many have ambitious plans to expand their electric offerings in the coming years. Governments around the world have also recognized the potential of electric vehicles, providing incentives for both manufacturers and consumers to make the switch to cleaner transportation. Despite this progress, several questions about the EV1's legacy remain unanswered. The alleged efforts by General Motors, CARB, and the oil industry to suppress information about the EV1 and its technology warrant further investigation. By shedding light on these contentious issues, we can better understand the complex dynamics at play in the electric vehicle market and work towards a more sustainable transportation future. One particularly intriguing question is what became of the EV1s that were not crushed. Rumors persist that some of these vehicles found their way into private collections or were secretly stored away by General Motors. If this is true, it raises the possibility that the technology and knowledge contained within those vehicles could still be used to advance electric vehicle development today. The story of the EV1 serves as a haunting reminder of the challenges we face in transitioning to a more sustainable future. While progress has been made, much work remains to be done. The ghosts of the past continue to linger, urging us not to forget the lessons they teach and to remain vigilant in our pursuit of cleaner, greener transportation for all. As we move forward, let us remember the EV1 and the promise it once held. By understanding its history and legacy, we can better navigate the complex landscape of electric vehicle development and ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. The future of sustainable transportation hangs in the balance, and the stakes have never been higher.